Welcome to Top Dealer Podcast, the show where we talk innovative and disruptive automotive dealer strategies from around the world with some of the leading general managers and owners of dealerships and help you understand what you can do today to future-proof your business and to go to the next level. I'm Dave Benson and our co-host is Glenn Lundy. Ready for strategies? Let's tune in. This week's episode is sponsored by carloan.com. If your dealership is looking to grow its special finance department, Interactive Financial Marketing's carloan.com lead program will do exactly that. They're the largest generator of organic, exclusive leads in the automotive industry, spending around $1 million per month in PPC. Tell them the Hustle and Grind team sent you for pricing that you will love. Check out their website at www.interactivefmg.com. Welcome to the Top Dealer Podcast. I'm Dave Benson, and this is the show that you learn about the innovative and disruptive automotive dealer strategies from around the world from the very best in the business. And this week's episode is absolutely no different. We have Mike Anderson, who's the owner of Anderson Ford in Lincoln, Nebraska, joining us today. And Mike has been nominated for Time Dealer of the Year 2019, which is an absolute honor to have him on the program. He is somebody that delves into his community, that really goes beyond the walls and looks after people beyond the walls of the dealership. He's also received the Better Business Bureau Integrity Award in 2012, and it is an absolute privilege to have you on the show today. Welcome, Mike.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dave.
It's an absolute honor. So tell me, look, let's get straight to the point. We like to ask you, most importantly, what are you doing to be announced or to be nominated as a Time Dealer of the Year nomination?
Well, I suppose it probably has to do a lot with just a lot of the things we're doing in our communities that we do business in. I bought this business from my dad 10 years ago, roughly, and when I did that, my whole goal was to just run this business different and to be a different kind of company. And I came across another company outside of our industry that I heard about by the name of Tom Shoes. I don't know if you ever heard of that organization, but their whole business model is you buy a pair of shoes from me and I'm going to give a pair of shoes to somebody in need. And I just thought, how cool is that for a for-profit business to have a mission of helping others? And so that's kind of really how our mission and our values and everything were really formed, is around that idea of taking this strength that we have of being able to sell cars, fix cars, and do all these things, and take the profits that we generate from that and help people, in our markets around this idea of giving them vehicles or fixing their cars for free, or just being able to give people a hand up in life, I guess, when it comes to an automotive need. So we've kind of tailored our whole business model and our whole values and missions as an organization around that concept.
It's fantastic, Mike. I know you do a lot of work, not just in your own hometown, but you're doing some international work in India. Tell us about that.
Yeah, this gal that met just through our church, that's one of our things. We felt like if we're really a business that's operating, with this mission, we felt like there had to be 4 impact areas that we had to focus on. One of them being our people, one of them is our communities that we do business in, our industry that we're in, and then the world. And so part of our world piece is we've partnered up with this company called Hope Venture, that they are helping these kids in third world countries to get an education and to try to better themselves in life. And so it was kind of something that really struck a chord with us. It's a local nonprofit here in Nebraska, and that's one of our world impact pieces that we've partnered up with.
Fantastic. It's so empowering to, I've been in the automotive industry for 17 years, but, often you come across dealerships that are just focused on profit, and we're just focused on, how we can get the next buck for ourselves, and, the next, whatever it might be, the next purchase, the next acquisition. But it's amazing to hear, from you, Mike, that you've got not just a local, but global aspect. Talk to me about, you said that, one of the key aspects of building your business was people. One of the things that we're passionate about at Top Dealer and Rise and Grind and Hustle and Grind, and all our ventures with Sales Hustlers, is culture and how we eradicate negative stigmas associated with the car business, and how we build the right culture within our organizations. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing to focus on the people in your organization.
Well, there's some things we do. We do have a benevolence fund that we obviously our people, we try to look at, how we're paying them within our industry, and NADA produces those guides on an annual basis, and we try to make sure that every role we have is well compensated. We, people do fall on hard times, and we do have benevolence where we, help our own people out of situations and give them a hand up. We one of the things we look at every year is we call it an Andy Award, where we have our defined core values as an organization, and then every year we recognize those people that work for us that are really living the values out day in and day out, with examples of how that looks. And we give them a really nice awards, and we recognize them at our annual Christmas party. So, I guess, we do pay for, we encourage people to go and do, work for a nonprofit, because I feel like, if you are really out there trying to help somebody else, it really makes you feel better. And so the more we can encourage our people in our stores to do those things, it's going to just give them a better sense of purpose in life, I feel. And so we do pay for them to do that.
I love it. I love what, when I read up about you, Mike, and I saw this quote, which was, using the business as a tool to help other people that are less fortunate is the most rewarding aspect of my retail automotive career. Like, you're focusing on people in the business, through benevolent funds and the ability to get them involved in giving back. It sounds like you're basically, you're not running a car dealership. It sounds like you're running a mission organization.
Well, that's basically the way we look at that. Yeah, we look at it as a business. It's on a mission, and it gives you greater purpose. When I've lost my father, I've lost my son. They've passed away, and when you start losing loved ones around you, and you start looking at really, why am I here? It really gives you a greater purpose to realize that you're here for something more than just trying to run a business that generates profits. I mean, you have to generate profits to stay in business and to be able to do the things you want to do. So you got to run an excellent organization in that regard. But when you look at the greater purpose of why am I here, and you keep that as the guidepost for the organization, it just gives you more meaning, I guess, in coming to work every day.
Yeah, that's really
That's
fantastic.
the way we look at that.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Yeah.
Look, I know that you. I want you to tell us a little bit about your back history. You spent some time in the NFL.
Yeah, well, I was fortunate enough to, out of high school, I got an opportunity to play. I got a scholarship to play football in Nebraska back in the 90s, when we were actually had some pretty decent teams. I got an opportunity to play for some great leaders. Coach Osborne was our coach. I was fortunate enough I was a free agent with the New York Jets, and when Pete Carroll was the head coach that year, and I think he was a really great leader. Got an opportunity to play for him, and then I had an opportunity to go play over in Europe, in NFL Europe, when they were first getting that started again back in the mid 90s. And so, yeah, I had a lot of great experiences in football, and really gave me a lot of, I guess, perspective on or build a lot of relationships with a lot of great guys over the years, and get to experience a lot of great leadership. I was fortunate with that.
Great. So tell me how does like the team environment from your football playing days, how does that correlate into how you build teams now in your dealerships?
Well, the biggest thing for me is I remember the perspective of when you're in high school and college playing sports. You really know you're on a team. You're going to be there for a certain period of time, and you're there to help your team win. And then the difference I remember going into the NFL, it was you felt like you went from a team environment to it's a business now, and there wasn't really this sense of team. I didn't feel like it was more individual based because everybody's fighting for a job, and so that's what I try to incorporate here in business is this idea that you are a part of your team. I want it to be like a college atmosphere, not an NFL atmosphere, because you are on a team. You are trying to win. We're trying to make a difference, and it's not all about an individual performance. It's about how we perform as a team, and that's what I really try to instill here in this organization.
It's fantastic, fantastic. Maybe you and I should go and visit the LA Lakers or something like that. Tell them it's not just about one person. Hey, it's
Right.
it's
I
about a
know.
team. It's crazy. I mean, so many businesses are. We're think about the sales environment, the sales floor that I grew up on. It's dog eat dog. If I don't get the lead, it's the first person to walk out to the lot. It's the first person to pick up the phone. It's a dog eat dog. So to build a team environment is pretty rare. And so for you to be nominated for Tom Dealer of the Year, obviously you're doing some things right. Talk to us about what you see as some of the challenges that are going to be facing dealerships over the course of the next few years. And what can we do as dealerships? What can we do as an industry to prepare ourselves for some of these upcoming threats?
Well, I think the biggest thing is obviously technology is continuing to evolve, and a lot of times we get I know dealers were famous for, well, if it worked, let's just stick with it, and but we have to continue to evolve, and I think so. Technology, I think, is one of those biggest things. Is how do we continue to evolve with technology to make it easy for our consumers, easier for our employees, because people want a different experience now. As things change, we're in this now environment. That's the other thing I would say is a challenge is with employees too, is everybody wants instant gratification, and so it's a real challenge to show them, hey, if you come here and start here, and work hard, you can end up here. And so I think it's just that constant challenge of sharing that it's not an instant gratification society, and then
Yeah.
continuing to stay with this technology and evolving it into your process to make it a first class experience for your customers and employees. So those are probably two of the biggest challenges I see.
So drill down for us. What have you done? Like, what have you been doing? Maybe a project that you're working on undertaking right now in regards to the technology. I mean, there's plenty of write-ups saying that autonomous cars are going to come in, and the people are buying from brokers now, and people are going to buy from a manufacturer, and the dealer's going to be out, and all this sort of stuff because people can buy online, or because the car dealerships haven't been doing a good job. What, from a technology standpoint, what are some of the things that you're working on right now to not just ready yourself, but that you want to be cutting edge and you want to be more innovative at your dealership?
Well, for us, the big thing right now is working with our sales process, because historically the car sales process is a laborious, long, people feel like they come into a car dealership, it's going to take hours to buy a car. They feel like they're going to be forced into something that they don't want to buy. And then when it's all said and done, they finally buy a car, the finance process. Oh, you mean I got to go back there and talk to that guy for another hour? He's going to try to sell me all this stuff. So for us, we've actually been working with our manufacturer. There's a third party that they've partnered with to help dealers figure out the best practice in streamlining their process that's going to be a win-win for the customer and the employee. And our so we are, that's kind of been an effort we've been working on here for the last few months, is to try to define our best practice process to make it easy to buy a car with us. And so that is one of the major ones we're working on right now.
Yeah, it's never been easy, and you know, there's a lot of people that still say that the industry hasn't changed, but there's no doubt that the customers, you know, in the instant gratification, they want a quicker process, an easier process, and a more transparent one. So that's fantastic. Right. So tell me, I want to go back to culture for a second, and I want to talk about, you know, give me an example or somebody, you know, within your organization that, because of what you've done in the community, what difference does your community aspect have on the people in your organization? You know, like the average salesperson or service personnel that's sitting there on a daily basis, when you have a mission that you do, what sort of stories or difference has that made to the people in your business?
Well, it gives them a greater sense of pride of knowing who they work for and being a part of that. One of the things we do is we partner up with different organizations in our communities that deal with you know, these people in need, and we will bring them in and we'll take a night and we will fix their cars for free, and our techs all volunteer their time. They come in and
Wow.
and it's just a real good team building, and then they get to see this person that they just helped them with their car fixing, and you know, they get to experience that, just that feeling of helping somebody, and that's exciting. It's exciting to do that. And you know, there was a really cool story here. One of the things we do every year with our Christmas party is we share videos of impact stories that have happened throughout the year, and we have a gentleman that just came to work for us that shared the story when he was a kid. He remembers his mom was in the hospital. She was a single mom, and here he's the only child raised by his mom who just had a massive heart attack. She's in the hospital. This kid, his car broke down, and he was there. That was the only way he could get to school, the only way he could get to work, and was his car. And his mom's in the hospital. They got no way of affording anything, and we gave him a car in order to for him to stay in school and keep his job. And well, anyway, fast forward here, quite a few years later, this guy is coming into work, and he realizes that, oh my gosh, this was the organization that helped my family when we were struggling, and now he's working for us. And you talk about a sense of, like, you know, pride of knowing that this company not only helped him when, you know, we didn't even know, you know, he didn't know, or, you know, we had no reason to really help him other than is our heart's desire to help this person. And now he's a productive member of society, and he gets to work for us, and is selling cars for us now. And it's kind of a neat story.
Right.
So it's those type of stories continually that happen over and over that just really build that sense of pride and where people work for us.
That's great. I mean, we're blessed to be a blessing, aren't we? And obviously you've jumped on that mission without doubt. And I see so many times in dealerships where, you know, we want to do these things in the community so that it brings us exposure, but it's always weighted. And it's great talking to you, Mike, because, you know, it sounds like you're paying it forward regardless of what comes back to you. I mean, it always does, but at the same time, you don't do it with those intentions. And you know, to hear somebody who's got so many missions, who's so many opportunities, you know, obviously somebody in India that you're helping out through the venture there is, you know, it's not going to buy a car from you, but the ability to give back is just fantastic. I wanted to ask you about, in the next couple of years, you know, what do you see as the greatest opportunity? If we're talking to dealership general managers, to owners, to people who are potentially in that role in the next few years, what do you see as the big opportunity for us in the automotive space right now?
Well, I think for dealers, it's to just to try to stay ahead with, you know, to improve our operations, to improve, you know, like, you know, we look at expenses every day. We look at cash flow. We try to maximize our, I think, and what I think I go back to like the 08, 09 when the economy really went down. Dealers, we were all looking at ways, how are we going to cut expense? And, we want to stay in business, right? So we're looking at everything we can to do that. Well, then you go into a period there where things are good and you kind of lose track of that. I think for dealers, it's to, you never know what the future is going to hold. I think we have to always be looking at ways to maximize our, improve our cash flow, reduce expense, increase sales. So we do look at those things on a regular basis because we do want to maximize everything we do as an organization. I think that as dealers, sometimes we need to step back and we need to make sure that our operations are operating as efficiently as they can, even when things are going good, which we had a pretty good run here for a while.
For sure. There's definitely a focus on a couple of the interviews I've already done and that focus on efficiency. I want you to leave us with one last thought, and that is a question that we ask on every episode, and that is this. If you could leave every listener, every dealer tuning in right now with one piece of gold advice in 1 minute, what's the one thing that you would say that, cut all the rest? If you did this one thing in the next 30 days, you're going to be successful. What's the one area of focus that Mike Anderson, wants to leave?
For the next 30 days that you need to work on to be successful? Is that the question?
In the next 30 days, what should we as dealerships be focusing on right now?
Well, I would say with interest rates rising, it's inventory control and how do we, and maximizing our, not allowing inventory to, like with interest rates rising, we have to do a better job of managing our inventory. So that's the one thing I know from an expense standpoint, we're really focused on trying to improve in that area.
That's great. That's great. Well, I'm sure you've got plenty of other, things coming up at Christmas time to be giving back to the community. Have you had your Christmas party yet?
This weekend, actually, we're having it. So
Fantastic.
We're kind of excited about that, getting all ready for that. So it's an exciting time.
Yeah, great. So many great stories. I'm sure will come from that. Look, Mike Anderson, we appreciate you being on Top Dealer. That you are, without doubt, a top dealer in our mind, and congratulations on the nomination for Time Dealer of the Year. We really thank you for being on the show today. Thanks for tuning into this week's episode of Top Dealer. Make sure you go and visit our website, thesaleshustlers.com, for all the other episodes, and I look forward to seeing you on next week's episode.